greetings once again. Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today. Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee, and it's me, Oberon, with Goth Tarot. My weekly look into the shadow issues of our lives. And yes, I know at times it gets a little melodramatic, but we're here to study for this week, this month, family loyalties, a very particular kind of codependency on your family or the tradition around certain things that kind of coerces you to not really act in your best interest. So we're going to get started with a review and our current work on that. But first, we're going to start off with an oracle reading from, I should show it this way, the Dark Light Oracle. Oops. And it's ghosts. From another world. If you see me appear, that means you have a strong connection with subtle presences that some people can't perceive. Be attentive to signs. Develop your intuition. Hear the message that is sent from above. You don't have to be frightened. Even though I look spectral, I am kind and caring. I come to remind you that you are not alone. All of your steps are guided here, but you don't need to understand rashly. You may feel it in your chest. So if you're searching for answers, just listen to the secrets the skies are whispering in your ears at this very moment. Affirmation. I listen to what my personal ghosts have to say. I welcome them and hear their message. And then I can wave them goodbye. So, not bad for the beginning of our shadow work. I think this could be saying really that in some terms of the things we work with. It's not also bad to include an actual spiritual message or feeling that might be helpful one way or the other. So in other words, in the case of family loyalties, I mean, if you're adventurous enough, maybe you want to have an attempt at spirit contact with the ancestors to see if this is what they intended, or that maybe there's something that could be done to release that curse or whatever is working over here with that. Hugely dysfunctional sense of that. So I'm going to review that card right now, our family loyalties. And once again, or if I haven't mentioned it, it's from the Cries of the Souls Oracle by Isabel Serf and illustrated by Daphne Sabane. So we want to recall that family loyalty is pretty much about transgenerational memories and things that link us or tie us to generations before us, and a sense of conventions or traditions that kind of dictate what we can do or what kind of context we can do certain things in. And these experiences from generations before are really what's doing that sense of addiction or codependency. And so, like I mentioned, maybe, you know, depending on where you're at in magical or deeper shadow work, maybe you want to take this to those spirits of those ancestors and ask them, you know, why are you doing this? Why is this going on? So I'm gonna so that's our update there with that. I'm gonna update now with our two different Erethereal tarots, the Shadow Work Tarot and the Opaline Tide Tarot. And the first one, the Shadow Work Tarot, is just to give us a sense of whether or not any of this is making sense. Are we absorbing it? Are we ready, you know, to move on to something different now, or back into, you know, a more balanced life where we're not, you know, beholden to this. And so that's the Shadow Work Tarot by Erethereal. We want to know if there's other things we need to do. We want to know if any of this is working for us, where we might need more help and more time. What is our progress? It's the Page of Wands. So the progress says we're going to be getting some news about this, maybe information. It almost feels like it's a test run. You know, a lot of times the family loyalty is talking about how we limit ourselves from certain actions. And so in this case, this could be saying, our challenge would be to try to accept an invitation or go to a meeting or extend a friendship in a situation where maybe that family loyalty kicks in and says, no, you can't do that. You have to be beholden to what we feel here, and there's a reason why we don't want you to do that. This is saying this is an opportunity coming to you, I think, where you will try to, exert your own sense of getting around, the rules. I think it's only as simple as that, really. So now I'm going to use the Opaline Tide Tarot. And what I'm looking at is, like, what are your emotional regrets at this time? What you can do to finally let go or absorb this shadow. So this could be saying that there's one little layer here of a shadow or another part of a shadow that is still locking you towards that, or in the understanding of how you're meant to let this go. This could be talking about helpful thoughts or helpful actions you may need to do in order to really release this and let it go. It's the reversed Four of Pentacles. And I'm exactly right. There is a lot of releasing here. The Four of Pentacles talks about that idea of letting go of the things that you have, maybe a particular overly strong you may not be able to fully cleanse yourself of this unless you're able to also get rid of maybe some of the physical attachments that connect you to that. And that could be a lot of different things. It could be things that maybe, just make you feel indebted to this. So for example, the easiest example would be you can't make dates or go to certain things on a certain day because that's the family dinner day, and you're not allowed to even bring anybody new to dinner as your guest, but you have to go to it. Some of this sounds antiquated, so that example may not work for you, but it's that kind of thing where a sense of guilt over being beholden to a family tradition. That's the core of what's going on here with this. And so it may be really hard unless you can, give up some of the physical aspects too. So for that and other reasons, we're going to revisit the dark truth, which we did from the first week, the dark truth, which kind of talked about what it is we have to accept. For that, I'm going to read once again from the warning section of Family Loyalties. And remember, this speaks in the voice of that sense of what that shadow is, a sort of a persona about you. Let's also pull that on the screen too then. You can tame my presence by focusing on yourself, determining who you are and what you want. Explore your passions and build your own reference framework. You don't owe anyone anything. You're allowed to be original and build a way forward, even if that path is unknown to your family. Assert yourself and dare to show your identity and creativity to the world. Because the more you do so, the more you'll diminish my power over you and future generations. Live your own life and set aside the codes that don't work for you. And I know we talked about this before, and we had those kind of supportive cards that we would have liked before. I think I'm drawing your attention to the reverse Four of Pentacles and saying that, and within the combination of the other card, that there's a good challenge coming up. And it could be saying, you know, like I use the example of, you know, a family dinner that is something you can never get out of or something that's immutable. But it doesn't have to be that exactly. It could be other things. And so this invitation could even be one that you give yourself because you want to find a way to enact this. And this is really saying that if there's a real strong sense here of the family's power over you being omnipresent, you may have to really go on the rogue and be secretive about how you do this. And so the idea of the Four of Pentacles says it could come down to physically saying, this is what I give up. But I'm still thinking there's a sense of just keeping them in the dark about this to some degree, just not letting them realize that the reason you can't show up for Sunday dinner is because of something else. You know what I mean. So we're going to go now to the final dark gift, and that's once more a card from the Opaline Tarot. I was just looking for it. Here it is. But you know what? I was supposed to also draw the additional card from the Erethereal. And the reason for that is that this is the additional dark truth that we're revisiting. I didn't see that in my note there. So I am doing that first, and then we're going to go back to the final dark gift. So besides what I just mentioned in terms of the truth, the final truth, we also have this. And the final truth is that you're actually highly more creative and highly more able to project your powers of goodness and creation, healing, caring yourself than with them, with this family. And so I think the truth is that you're better off without them in a way. And, you know, I have a couple friends who have some very indicative codependency with family units. It could be talking about people like that. Sometimes people just really have to say, I'm better off without you than with you, because of the way you have curtailed, you know, my freedom, and you have limited my choices. So what then is that final dark gift, that final thing you may be able to use? And of course it's knowledge, it's the Two of Swords, but it's also waiting for that right moment. Because, you know, a number of the things we talked about said there's this invitation or this chance or this opportunity, but it may not just show up lickety-split. It may not just show up next week because I saw it here. At any rate, it could. But the Two of Swords is really saying that you have to be precise in your timing about how you're going to do this. You know, it's almost like, you know, like a subterfuge thing, you know, kind of like you're doing a prison break in a way. I hate for us to think about our family that way. Well, maybe I don't know. Families can be pretty oppressive, but the sense of timing and the sense of having a total informed perspective is that final dark gift for you, of knowing when it really is the right time to do this. And so just because I'm being a little bit of a cheerleader here doesn't mean that you're going to do it right now, this next week, you'll know when you're going to do it. All right, so we are going to end with a final meditation from the Secret Language of Darkness. And with this, we hope to have a little bit of peace and rest towards the final way we absorb or plan around our families. To avoid this codependency of family loyalty. Forgiveness. Release resentment to regain balance. And so just off of the top of that, I would say that, yes, the idea of having to break away from your family or do things on the sly in order to get away from the shadow would build resentment at some point. And it's not necessarily the way we want to go here. We want, to be able to find that sense of that. It is time to forgive yourself, a person or a situation, something that had you shackled to anger and resentment. Free yourself so you can welcome healing. Holding someone, perhaps yourself, forever accountable does not right the wrongs of the past. Forgiveness does not harden hurtful behavior, but it can release you from being disempowered whenever you think or talk about it. Reclaim this energy by changing the narrative. Break the pattern and open the door to your dreams. Forgiveness will expand your awareness. It also gives you grace with choice and improves your well-being. So now I want you to metaphorically look at that card there. Close your eyes. Concentrate on your breathing. Breathe slowly and surely. See yourself as a being of light. Hold your breath for a few moments. And then release it gently and relax. And now in front of you, you see our golden staircase that descends into the earth. And you relax and begin walking down it. And with each step, you feel yourself falling deeper into your own subconscious as we go from 10 to 0. Walk with me now and descend deeper into your subconscious. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And you arrive at the bottom and notice the crystal cave before you. Go within and find a comfortable place to sit. A beautiful heart rose floats in front of you. Focus your attention on the middle of this rose as it grows you larger, drawing you into its center. Now bring to mind someone you want to forgive. It could even be you. See this person floating in front of you. Harmonious rays of golden light connect you. Focus on the words or actions to be forgiven. Breathe in the memory of this moment and let it be fully present within you. And notice and name your feelings as you relive the hurt. You may never know what compelled the person to act or speak in this way that hurts you. And that is okay. For now, imagine seeing the rift through their eyes. Observing their perspective does not mean you agree with it, nor does it absolve them of responsibility, but it may provide some clarity. Now, when you are ready, give this person a hug and feel the flow of forgiveness and release any resentment or anger between you, and affirm to this person, I am responsible for my consciousness and energy. Forgiveness allows beauty and value to arise from our experience. Allow the person to simply disappear from view and turn to see a mirror on the wall of the cave. Within it, there is a guide or teacher. This is your higher guidance. Ask them, have I truly forgiven? If they say no, then repeat this meditation tomorrow. Whatever the answer, return to that golden staircase, and as you ascend, imagine the heart rose embracing you to be a shield until you heal, and thank the person or event for giving you this opportunity. Now, let's rise together up the staircase as I count from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. You feel yourself becoming a little bit more wakeful. 5, 6, 7. You begin to breathe a little bit more steadily. 8, 9, 10. You are almost at the top and you feel almost fully awake. And 10. And step forward, take 3 quick deep breaths, open your eyes, and be with us now. Remember these things. Where there is love and balance, there is no need for forgiveness. Resentment and bitterness can arise from judgment. A lack of empathy or emotional pain that keeps us tied to the past. Not forgiving can be a hurdle to spiritual growth and manifesting desires. You can forgive and free yourself from anything. And so I just want to say this was week 4 of the family loyalties, and I hope that meditation was helpful. I hope you felt it allowed you to forgive somebody if you felt they were part of what was keeping you bound to that family loyalty, limiting your growth and your own experiences, making you doubt yourself. I think these cards show you have a way to put that behind you. You may have to not be fully honest about some of this, but I think when you forgive them at that spirit level, then you don't need to worry about that. You are now on to a new thing, and your relationship with those people in your family loyalty situation can stay the same, really, with your own new understanding about how things will work out from here on. So next week will be our 5th week in this month, and so I'm going to do something a little different. Week 5 doesn't curtail to the shadow work we did. It may be a little freeform. So I'll see you then. Don't forget to watch TFT Tarot for Today after dark tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. And then on Friday, my Emotional Exchanges is on at 7 a.m. in the morning. Happy Hour on Saturday is on at 10 a.m. in the morning. Banshee's Material Matters is Sundays at 10 a.m. And then our other live stream Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4 p.m. And all these times are Eastern Standard. You can check us out on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and here on YouTube. Take care, everybody.